Today, and that is the green energy transition with Alessandro Antonioli. Oh my goodness, Alessandro, I hope I did not destroy your name. Senior representative at CIP, and Antoine Croize, country manager at Vestas. Oh my goodness, the Italians and the French have really made me stumble over your name. So I might have to ask you to pronounce them better than I did. So we are really excited to bring both an investor perspective and a technology perspective. And I'm actually really delighted to moderate this session. Why? Well, my sustainability background, but here I'm really seeing how green transition has moved from a sustainability topic to a core part of day-to-day business and investment. So that makes it super, super exciting. So can I just ask, as I've just really mispronounced your names, if you could say it again and tell a little bit about yourself, and then I can go straight to the first question. So if I start off with you, Alessandro, please, how do we pronounce your last name?
You pronounce it well. Christina,
You're being very kind.
Is Alessandro Antonioli, and I work for Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners. That is a fund dedicated to large-scale energy transition projects and operates in more than 30 countries and manages more than $35 billion and a portfolio of 110 gigawatts of projects around the world.
Antoine.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. You got it right as well, Christina. It's Antoine Croize, okay. So really good job for that. And I recently took the role of country manager for Vestas Vietnam. I've been in the region for 10 years, but just recently joined in Vietnam, and Vestas manufacturers install on service wind turbines across the world. In Vietnam, it's an important market for us in APAC. We have 1.6 gigawatt of installed capacity, and we are looking for much more for the years to come.
Fantastic. Thank you for helping me out there. That really relieves my moderating duties in many ways. I would love for both of you to set the scene, because we talk a lot about green energy or energy in general. So again, the question, why is renewable energy so important, and why does it still matter? So if you could just briefly set the scene from your side, Alessandra, and then Antoine.
It matters because it matters for the people. People want to live in better cities, and they want to have leave a legacy to their children that is a world that is better than the one they found. They don't want to feel guilty when they consume products. They want to feel like they are paying a fair price for the energy they consume that doesn't affect the livelihoods of other people negatively. If anything, they have high expectations on green energy. They want it to improve the life of the communities and to provide better jobs for themselves and for the people surrounding them. So having green energy does matter, and I had this reflection internally for many, many years, and current reasoning still challenges why would you go for expensive renewable energy when you have cheap oil and gas derived energy. And this is a difficult but necessary explanation that we need to give to countries like Vietnam, whose existence of the very fragile ecosystem is depending on managing the natural resources effectively.
Antoine?
I think from my point of view, when we look at Vietnam, we are looking at a country which is targeting 8 to 10% GDP growth. So with this growth, it will increase as well the energy consumption of the country. And to meet this demand quickly on that scales, renewables are not an option, basically. They are just essential. Solar and wind especially can be deployed at much faster rate than traditional power plants. And this will be critical for Vietnam for the energy security of the country. I think in terms of economics as well, we have seen that solar and wind have become more and more competitive for the past years, and now we have the energy that are really competitive. It provides as well very long-term view. The PPA usually for solar and wind kind of fixed for 20 years. So there is no dependency on fossil fuels variations on the long term. So in terms of growth, in terms of economics, it just makes sense.
Thank you so much for sort of telling both perspective of why it's important in terms of that green energy, but also the part is the increased use of energy, and that one has to have a combination, if not to pursue green energy down the line. So the way the session is built is what has been and what are we going to look forward. And I would like to start the question to you, Alessandra, looking back at 2025. What was the single most important change for Vietnam's green energy transition?
So there has been a wave of regulatory changes in 2025 that definitely has started to clarify the picture in the local conditions for international investors, particularly, that have been giving a lot of hope for new projects in the country for quite some time, but actually we have seen a stalling of the, if not a deterioration of the investment conditions over the last 3 years. So 2025 has seen some important pieces of regulations being issued. So I think for me, the one that is probably the most relevant is the Decree 57 on the direct PPA, because that's very specific. It starts to give a quite specific frame on how you can sell your power privately outside of the public network, and therefore, for an investor perspective, it means that you have an alternative route to market that is not just dependent on the network operator, helping you de-risking the project and helping you potentially to get a higher price for your power. So I think that's a piece of legislation is quite important. There's still some work to be done on it, but definitely it gives some hope that actually many projects off-grid would be investable in the near future.
In a similar fashion, Antoine, if we look at what's been happening in 2025, from the technology and supply side, how did 2025 change how you view Vietnam's market readiness?
Yeah, I think from our side, maybe to give a bit of history about Vestas' experience in Vietnam, there has been a big boom, especially in wind energy, around the year 2019 to 2021. This is where Vestas has installed most of our capacity that we have currently in Vietnam. And after the market has been slowing down from 2021 to today, we were waiting for more clarity and more regulatory framework, basically to support developers and investors to move forward on their project. I think the main turning point for us in 2025 has been the adoption of the PDP8, which is a power development plan of Vietnam. And it gives kind of the vision on the regulatory framework to developers and our customers to move forward finally on their project. And there have been a lot of projects that have been in the pipe for a couple of years waiting for this new PDP8, and it has been announced this revised PDP8 in April 2025, and we hope it will really accelerate the renewable energy sector from 2026 onwards.
So, Antoine, staying with you, if we look at what's happening just now, we've looked behind like 2025 and behind. What is happening now and what is going to happen in the year ahead? So, what to expect in 2026 and beyond? What for Vestas will become easier and what will be challenging?
I think what I expect at the moment, our perspective is that the momentum is clearly picking up in Vietnam. We have really increased our discussion with developers, investors, and it's just not about work on paper, but we have clear plan of sight in terms of timeline and execution of the project. So what we expect from 2026 from Vestas is that we expect our first projects for the past few years to come in the country, and we expect to install a couple of 100 megawatts in the market for the next couple of years. I think that's on the positive side, but we see still some bottlenecks in the market. I think currently we do have the vision with the PDP8, the target volume on timeline. But in terms of implementation, there are still some bottlenecks that we see in the market. It's not something that we think would be unachievable in the next few months, but we need definitely clarity on a few topics to really move those projects to reality.
And similar to you, Alessandro, so what should businesses and investors prepare for over the next year, 2, 3 years, in terms of your opinion and background?
So I would expect that they should expect a slowly developing regulatory frame. I wouldn't expect that all the problems will be sorted in a matter of months. I think it's going to be slow, and I think the good investors should be able to capture the signals from those pieces of regulations and try to act proactively. So being able, they should engage, I think, with reliable partners early on and look at and analyze these risks upfront and have mitigation plans based on how the conditions are going to evolve. I think they can expect some major projects, not necessarily renewables, to see final investment decision or roundabout this year. I'm thinking mostly about LNG projects that have been in the pipeline for quite some time. But I think LNG is a good, if they progress, I think they're going to offer also a good sign for renewables, because they will help the network operator to have confidence that they will be able to manage a higher penetration of renewables, as network is obviously one of the biggest bottlenecks now to more development of renewable energy.
I'm really interested to hear from both of you. I'm wondering if this question is going to throw you up. What is actually the biggest priority for the year ahead for each one of you that you can share? I'm not sure you can share all your strategy plans for 2026, but if you could share one, that would be amazing. What is it that you are driving forward the most, or one item for 2026? Alessandro, as you were speaking, we can start with you.
Yeah, I think we would hope actually to be able to launch the offshore wind market finally in Vietnam. So we had some very good results recently. So we hit very good milestones. So for 2026, I think we hope to hit a major de-risking block that we see in the development of the Nam Chum Bo 1 project in the south of Vietnam alongside our partner PVN. And that would be, I think, almost a watershed moment for, I think, for the renewable industry, because these are massive infrastructure projects that might revive the local international supply chain, and I really hope that there will be the participation of international OEMs to this industry.
Antoine.
I think from our side, the main focus for 2026 will be more on the onshore wind sector, because we just see that this will be faster to implement. But of course, we are looking as well at offshore and see how we can support our customers, such as CIP, to support them in their plan to develop the first offshore projects in Vietnam.
And now on to the final question, which I'm sure you've been thinking about since the get-go. What is your moonshot prediction for 2026? It can be both personal and professional. We are recording it, and we'll keep it in the pocket to see if it's actually going to materialize or not. But go ahead, Antoine. What's your moonshot prediction for 2026?
I think maybe I'm too new and too positive on this, but I think we will see a couple of, at least for onshore wind, we will see a couple of 100 megawatt going through a final investment decision in 26, and especially with an acceleration in the second half of 2026.
Alessandro?
So I will try to look at the energy transition piece in general, so not just renewables. So if we think also gas to power, I think probably there will be about $5 to $10 billion of projects that are going to see a final investment decision in 2026. And more importantly, I hope that there will be many people who will find green jobs interesting, and therefore I hope green jobs will become cool in Vietnam. and we'll have many people interested in joining the energy transition of their country.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And with that, I want to say thank you to both of you, Antoine and Alessandro, for this session. At the end of the session, of all the sessions and end of the day, this has been really fantastic. A round of applause to you, and a big thank you, and look forward to welcoming you back for our next event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.